Let's bring in Ben White, Chief Economic Correspondent for Politico. Good to see you, Ben.
Good to be here.
So his campaign was all about bringing back jobs. This is sort of under that big tent. What does he think he's going to accomplish with this?
Well, the interesting thing about this is he's talking about punishing these companies and putting taxes and tariffs on them. In a case where he's actually done this so far with United Technologies, the owner of the air conditioning company, he actually gave them $7 million in tax breaks. So he's used the carrot so far and not so much the stick. And I think what he's going to try to do is use this as a PR strategy to try to scare companies into thinking, well, if we are going to move these jobs to Mexico, we're going to get in a big fight with Donald Trump. It's not going to look good publicly. So maybe they think twice about doing it. But this is so far outside the mainstream of conservative economic thought. Generally, they're free market people who don't believe in taking on individual companies and punishing them in this way. Let the free market decide. And tariffs on companies that make goods in Mexico and China, that's an invitation to a trade war. That's an invitation to higher prices for American consumers. It's a dangerous thing to do.
When you talk about individual companies, his campaign staff will talk about Carrier.
Yeah.
Of course, 1,000 jobs that were going to go away that now are going to stay in the United States. Is this a one-off, or is there some sort of a strategy that he has that he thinks he can use time and time and time again?
Right. Well, I think the idea of using the bully pulpit and trying to intimidate companies is a strategy he probably thinks he can use to win the PR war. I mean, it's important to remember in the case of Carrier, they're still moving over 1,000 jobs to Mexico. They're getting these tax breaks. It's not as if they've been punished heavily. So there is a bit of a playbook here now. If you're an American company that thinks maybe we could get some tax breaks out of this administration by just threatening to move to Mexico, and obviously Senator Bernie Sanders wrote about this, you just say, look, we're going to move this factory, and maybe we can get Trump and his administration to give us a good deal to stay. So that's also sort of a dangerous precedent when you're starting to offer these carrots. Companies think, hey, this is a good strategy to get a good tax deal to threaten to move jobs overseas.
Look, nobody's going to try and make the argument that the economy can't be improved if there aren't people who aren't hurting. Having said that, you talk to folks who are in the Obama administration, they always bristled throughout the course of this campaign at the idea that the economy had not improved under Barack Obama. And the numbers would certainly bear them out, whether you look at housing or the unemployment rate or how much money people are making. And by all those sort of standards, people are doing better than they were then. Yep. So he does, Donald Trump, in many ways, inherit something tremendously different, isn't he, than what Barack Obama inherited?
Yeah, it couldn't be any different. I mean, Obama came into office with the stock market crashing, with the auto industry in crisis, with the worst banking crisis we've ever seen, unemployment heading to 10%. We're now at 4.6%, something like 16 million new jobs under the Obama administration. Wages are going up. Stock market, as you mentioned, all-time highs. House prices have finally recovered to where they were before the housing crisis started. So are there problems in this economy? There definitely are. The size of the labor force, 90-some million out of work. So there are problems. He could hurt this with a trade war and not help the situation.
In our last 30 seconds, is there any kind of feeling within the community, within the economic community, about what's the one or two things that he could do to address, frankly, what got him elected, which was a lot of people have felt left out of this recovery?
Right. Well, one of the things that he could do in corporate tax reform is make the tax code more hospitable to American companies to do business in the U.S. So that's a positive that he could do. He could get that rate down, make it better for companies to start factories and industries here. Problem is, if you do a giant across-the-board tax cut, both for individuals and corporations, you could blow up the debt and deficit. That set interest rates higher. That would not be good for the people hurting in this economy. But he has an opportunity on corporate tax reform to do something positive for business and maybe get more people back to work in this economy.
Ben, you and I can do our part for the economy. We both just admitted to each other in the break that we have not done our Christmas shopping, so
I'm going to hit Amazon hard today.
Thanks, Ben. I appreciate you coming in.